3rd. It is August, y'all. That's crazy. How did that happen? What? So here we are in August. It's August 3rd, and it is Monday. So those are the public service announcements that I have for you today. And it is football week here at the Daily Devo Live. I have been waiting for this week for a while for the Daily Devo. We've done basketball week. We've done baseball week. It is now football week, y'all. And that is because football is about to begin. I mean, we're in training camp. Next week is going to be hockey, just because hockey starts this week. Actually, already started. Actually, I take it back. Hockey has already started. And so we'll do a little bit of hockey as well. There's some great hockey movies that we're going to be doing some trivia on. And we'll have some football trivia today. And as you can see, I am all set up in my Denver Broncos gear. I'm wearing number 3, which is Drew Lock. I just got this jersey. He is our quarterback. He's the new quarterback. He was a rookie last year. And he came in at the end of the season and, just won 4 games. And displayed like some prowess. And so, man, oh, man, I am excited for this season. And as you can see, I'm all decked out in my screen. And I have a new toy. For those of you who might be looking over my shoulder, this is my new toy. I have a little light box. Of course, when I tested it out with the light on, you couldn't see the letters in the screen. So the light is not on, but you can still see what I have placed on there. And so this will be a bonus trivia question. If anybody can figure out who said that. Gentlemen, this is a football. All right. So if you can figure out who said that, you get some bonus points today. Probably 10,000 bonus points. So good morning, everybody. Obviously, I am back in Austin, Texas. And for those of you who tuned in yesterday to our worship service, you already knew that because you saw me on the chancel preaching away. I was not a hologram. I was not. I was not a figment of your imagination. But what you are about to be subjected to for the next 5 days is basically like just a fraction of the Denver Broncos gear that I have. I mean, I am set. I could wear a different Denver Broncos jersey probably for, I don't know, a couple of weeks maybe. So, yeah, I have a problem. Like if it's my team, if I become of the Broncos since I was a little kid. So when I was a little boy growing up in Denver, Colorado, we didn't have a television. Had to walk backwards both ways in this 3 feet of snow to school. Actually, the 3 feet of snow is an accurate description. But yeah, when I was a little kid, we didn't have a TV, and we had TVs for like really short spurts of time. And my favorite television set that we ever had was one that was refurbished by my cousin, who was like a whiz at electronics and engineering and all that kind of stuff. And so he would rebuild things. This is back with like old TVs, like with tubes and, things like that. And so we had this TV that I think was probably from the 1960s, maybe. It was this huge box that was tall. It was a black and white television. It would have to warm up when you turned it on. And yeah, and so you'd turn on that TV and it would warm up and then finally come on. And we didn't have like a channel, it was a dial. Like there was a dial on that television. You know, the funny thing is, though, when I think about it, like that TV was probably like 20 years old. Maybe not, no, not even 20 years old. It was probably at that time, this is like 1976. So, I mean, you know, it's probably 10 years old, 10, 12 years old. I mean, maybe it was older than that. It might have been a 1950s television. I don't know. But even then, it was like 20 years old. So at any rate, that was our television. And it broke finally. And my dad didn't want to get another one. We just didn't have a television for years and years and years. And we finally got a tiny little TV when I was in high school. But anyway, so I couldn't watch the Broncos games on television. I just, you know, it was not possible. So I listened to them on the radio. So every Sunday afternoon, I would listen to the Broncos games on the radio in my bedroom, and I would pretend that I was playing the game, you know. And so that was 1976, 1977. They actually went to the Super Bowl for the first time and got defeated by the Dallas Cowboys. It was a terrible thing for a little boy, dashing my dreams, which would not be realized for many years. Like 30 years later, right? My dreams finally were realized. Yeah, I covered a Mile High in the early 90s. Yep. Elway is the man in Colorado. He is, although now Peyton Manning is a close second. Peyton Manning was embraced by the Broncos fans, and actually, even though he spent most of his career in Indianapolis playing for the Colts, he lives in Denver. He's part of the, you know, he does stuff with the team. I mean, he's a Coloradan now, and will be a Denver Bronco. It'll be interesting when he goes into the Hall of Fame, or he, you know, like when that happens. Which I don't know if he has already. I don't know. He hasn't. It takes 5 years. And so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes in, because a lot of times players will get a choice, you know. So if they went to a team later in their career, when they go into the Hall of Fame, they might go in at the team that they were at the longest, depending on the relationship. I'm thinking that Peyton's not going to go in as a Colt, which will suit me just fine. Yeah, so I had the opportunity many years ago. My wife did this for me, which is one of the greatest things she's ever done, besides marry me and give birth to our 3 sons and about 100 other things. But one of the greatest things that she ever did for me was to get me tickets to go see John Elway enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That was like one of the great moments of my fandom as a Denver Bronco fan. So I got to go to the Hall of Fame. I got to see the game. I got to see Elway enshrined, and it was just a great day. But I will say that when the Broncos first won their first Super Bowl, that we've won 3. When they won their first Super Bowl, I called my wife. She was out of town. And I called her, and I couldn't even speak. I was card. So there you go. So at any rate, are you on the right Devo? Yeah. So everybody, I'm sure everybody will have great sport at all of my hats and all of my jerseys this week. But there you go. So all kinds of stuff going on in the world around us, and I'm excited about this week for a number of reasons. One is I am childless this week. All the boys all went to Florida. They left last night to go to Florida to be with Meredith, and so they'll be down there all week with her. And Jacob is going to be going to wakeboarding camp. So he's going to be learning how to wakeboard on the lake he'll do like 3 days of that and another assorted fun. Yeah, so they're going to be down there just kind of doing their thing with her. And so I have no kids, no responsibilities. I tried to get my dad to go out of town just so that I was like, but he didn't. And so, but I told him, I said, don't expect anything from me this week. I am going to wallow in my the fact that I am responsible for no one except for me. And so it's going to be a good week. But the funny thing is that actually, when I got up today, I was like, oh, it's quiet, man. There's like, I was kind of lonely for a bit, and then I started working, and then it was happy, and I'm like, oh, so good. So anyway, it'll be a nice break for them, and it'll be great for Meredith too. And then she'll be back this weekend with them, and then she heads back. She's going to be spending quite a lot of time down there right now, just because of all of the busyness and all the things going on. She really needs to be there for this season, but it's all good. Yeah, so things are kind of going crazy in our world right now. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. And the numbers, however, in Austin and Travis County in terms of COVID have gone down. They've gone down, y'all. I just saw the report yesterday that we started the daily cases have started to decrease, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt it's because of the measures that were taken by the city of Austin and the surrounding areas to make masks mandatory, to do further restrictions. It stinks. It's not great, but the short-term pain will lead us to a long-term recovery, and so that's the thing that I wish a lot of people would get. There's a lot of people, including a lot of politicians, that are just not getting this. And I think what happens is there's some sobering things that will occur, like the guy that Louis Gomer, that's the representative here from Texas, who got coronavirus, and was one of those guys that was walking around without a mask, being a jerk about it, and talking about his freedoms and blah 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 blah, and then he gets coronavirus, and then because he's walking around Capitol Hill and walking around the buildings without a mask, like blatantly doing that, he puts everybody at risk, so. Those things are sobering. His daughter actually came out and said, he got this because of his irresponsibility. It sucks when your kids tell you the truth, isn't it? When they just like out with it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man. And I was also sad to see that Herman Cain passed away. There's a lot of things I didn't agree with him on politically, but in essence, he was a good man, a very good man who did a lot of good things in his life, and really, I think, tried very hard to know and understand, to seek understanding, and to listen to other people. I mean, he wasn't completely partisan, but he was partisan to a certain extent. So those things I always disagreed with him about, but it was sad to see that he passed away from coronavirus. Not sure where he got it. There was talk that he might have picked it up in Tulsa at that presidential rally that happened. But there could be other things too. So just be safe, y'all. Be safe. Wear your masks, sanitize, be careful, and you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things and be socially distant. You could do a lot of things that are normal. You don't have to, you can do it. There's a lot of stuff that you can do where you can just be careful and be safe, and so forth. All right. So good morning, Ann Matthias, all the way from Wales. It's not good morning to you. It's good afternoon, but it's good to see you today. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about today. I've got so much going on. So we've got a busy week, y'all. So we're going to be doing this every day, of course. And I'm going to start working on some Devos that'll kind of unpack some of the things that I was talking about on Sunday. So this week, I'm going to do a little bit on creativity and on creation and, God's limitless creativity, that kind of thing. So I'm going to do some work on that because the sermon yesterday was the first in a series. So I had to set up some stuff. It's one of those sermons where, I didn't have a lot of feels in it. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't have like a lot of, I was doing some theology and was kind of trying to set up the next preachers, which one of them is me. But next week, y'all, we're going to be hearing from Kelly Bratkowski. She's going to be preaching. It'll be the second time that she's preached to us, and she's going to be preaching the next sermon in this series on Sunday. So you definitely need to tune in for that. Her sermon that she preached, the first sermon she preached, which was about a year ago, was ended up being the most watched sermon on our YouTube channel, more than any of mine. I haven't checked them recently, but I don't know if some of mine have surpassed hers yet, but I don't think so. But anyway, so she's going to do a great job. I'm excited to hear from her. I'll be there, of course, and we'll be doing some stuff, and we'll be picking up. We'll be picking up the following week, another installment of this sermon series, and I'm going to be preaching from the story of Esther. Esther is a book that I've never preached from, ever. I mean, I've studied it. I've as part of seminary stuff and as part of just my life, of living in a Bible-centric sort of environment when I was growing up. So the story is very familiar to me. Of course, I didn't really understand the story until later in life and when I went to seminary and started studying some of these things. But the story of Esther is absolutely fascinating. And so we're going to be focused on how sometimes you are put in a situation at a particular moment in order for you to create something, whatever it is, to create a moment, to create a relationship, and sometimes to create something that's going to change things. It's going to change the world, or change your environment, your culture, your community, whatever, your family. I mean, so all these kinds of things are all part of that. So we'll be talking about that the following Sunday, and then Pastor Britta is going to finish us up with the final sermon in this series. I believe she's got the final sermon in the series. I don't know. I gotta check. I don't know how many Sundays there are in August. I'm just losing track of everything. Because I'm actually going to take a little bit of vacation at the end of August. Pastor Bird is on vacation right now. So yeah, I'm only preaching twice this month, which is kind of cool. So Pastor Bird has got August 23rd, and I believe I'll be here for that one, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'll be gone the last Sunday in August, which will be the August 30th. And that is going to be Beth. Beth Mueller is going to preach on that Sunday, and then we're going to be launching into some really cool series that are going to be coming up, and we're going to have a guest preacher in September that's going to do a sermon for us. That's going to be pretty amazing. Hold on, let me see. She is. I'm trying to make it. Let's see. Looking here. I want to get her title right. I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so the Reverend Nancy Benson Nicole. She is the development officer at Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary, and she's an amazing Black preacher and leader. And so she's going to be doing one of the sermons in September in a series that we're calling Rebel, and it's about the radical sort of nature of the cross. And so that's going to be cool. So pastor sermons, I'll be preaching two of them, and then our guest preacher is going to be preaching one. So that'll be fun. So that's September. We're excited about that. Yeah, so really cool stuff coming up. And this week, y'all, we've got our, I'm not sure, this might be maybe the last or second to the last installment of our Conversations on Racial Injustice, our class that we've been having on Wednesdays. I wasn't able to make the last one, but I will be there this week. So we've got that coming up. I'm sure we've got other opportunities for fellowship, for gathering, and then also for mission. You guys saw this past Sunday, we're doing some stuff with Street Youth Ministry. So we're doing a lot of cool things. So anyway, that's kind of all the stuff that's going on. There's all kinds of things that you could be aware of. Just make sure that you like our Facebook page for the church. And if you're not getting the emails, let me know. If you're not getting the daily Devo emails, let me know that too. Sometimes our MailChimp provider does messed up stuff. And so people can get kicked out of that. But at any rate, that's what we're doing. Okay, let's get down to it. So does anybody have any idea who said that? The little sign that's behind me that you can see, I'm sure, that says, "Gentlemen, this is a football." Anybody have a clue as to who said that? Who might have said, "Gentlemen, this is a football"? I'm just going to sit here and wait. I'll give you a hint. I mean, because I'm kind of delaying because of the delay. There's a little bit of a delay, like maybe 30 seconds or so, 30, 40 seconds. But there's a little bit of a delay. But I will give you a little bit of a hint. This was a coach, and this coach would begin every season when they would go to training camp. His football team, when they would go to training camp, this is how he would start the training camp. He would start the very first practice by saying to them, he would hold up a football and say, "Gentlemen, this is a football." And the reason why he would do that is because it was all about the basics, right? It was like going back to basics for training camp and then getting ready, like just, making sure you had your fundamentals down. So nobody has chimed in. So I'm going to assume that you are stymied. It's kind of you can take an easy guess, right? I mean, famous football coaches, Bear Bryant, that's a good guess, because that would be something that Bear Bryant would do, the famous coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, won like a zillion national championships. But it is not Bear Bryant. It is, in fact, Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi. Yep, there you go, Vince Lombardi. So, I mean, it's Bear Bryant or Vince Lombardi, famous football coaches, right? But that's how Vince Lombardi would begin every training camp. "Gentlemen, this is a football." All right, so let's do a little trivia while we are at it. Okay, in 2006, there was a football movie that was made that starred Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, who was a teen idol back in the day, like kind of a rap dance, Marky Mark, right? Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. He had that song "Good Vibrations" and a couple of other songs, right? And so at any rate, Marky Mark, it's Mark Wahlberg. He's been in a ton of movies. So his brother, Donnie Wahlberg, was in New Kids on the Block. So they kind of, ran in the family. And so Mark Wahlberg, became like a rapper, became like a pop star, but then went on to star in a ton of movies. He's been in a lot of things. What was I watching? Oh, he was in the movie The Lovely Bones. I think that was probably one of his better roles, but he's been in a ton of movies. The guy has become like a really good actor. And his brother Donnie has also acted, continues to act. Donnie's screen debut was in The Sixth Sense. He was in The Sixth Sense, and he played the troubled young man that shot Bruce Willis and killed him. Right. So you got the movie right, Joe. The movie starring Mark Wahlberg as Vincent Papale, who was 30 years old when he decided to be a walk-on tryout for a particular team. I just want the team. So what team did Vincent Papale, as a 30-year-old teacher, high school teacher, who went out and tried out as a walk-on and made the football team, his favorite football team, childhood football team, and made the team. It was an incredible story, the year that it happened. But Vincent Papale, he didn't last very long, but good Lord. I mean, for a guy to just go and do walk-on tryouts, and then to make the team is pretty crazy. So if you can just give me the team, that's the question. It's not the name of the movie. The Eagles. That's right. The Philadelphia Eagles. And so, it was all about Vincent Papale, who became he was teaching at his alma mater in Pennsylvania. So like he played football at this school, he went to school at this place, and he then tried out for the team as a 30-year-old. I mean, that's just unheard of, just unheard of. So anyway, there you go. Football trivia. So we'll have some more tomorrow. I'll try to make them interesting, and we'll try to do some older movies as well, and try to mix it up and make the questions interesting like that, right? So we'll get down to it. Okay, let's do the Daily Devo today. The Daily Devo is actually football themed. If you could tell that I'm a little excited about football. I'm excited about sports generally, man. I've been watching basketball. The Cubs won last night, and they did like a socially distanced celebration. It was really funny. So it was they won in the 11th inning. They've been tied with the Pirates the whole game, or basically the whole game. They won in the 11th inning. Javi Baez hits a single that drove in the winning run. And so they all, how they all rush out all the time and they'll like hug each other and jump up and down. Well, they rushed out and they were like distance high-fiving each other and like dancing. It was great. So great. But yeah, that was a good moment. Anyway, so any sports, I'm just watching anything at this point. I'm so excited just to have something, And so here's the thing. I will say this is my one commentary today, but there's all these people that every time, so I follow the Denver Broncos on Facebook, and so they post all this stuff trying to hype up people getting ready for the season. Every single post, every single Twitter post, every single thing on Instagram, every single one of them, there's always some white person who comments on it saying, if they kneel for the national anthem, I'm never watching again. To which I'm like, bye. Bye, Felicia. Farewell. I mean, seriously, come on. You're these are the same people that are screaming and yelling and posting all kinds of angry stuff about people rioting in the streets. And yet somebody's doing a peaceful protest and they're not going to watch anymore. I'm sure that there will be lots of tears shed at the NFL home office over, Carol from Inglewood, who decided that she wasn't going to watch the Broncos anymore. So anyway, whatever. We live in a free country and people have the right to expression, and peaceful expression is amazing. Let's embrace that. Let's celebrate that. You want to keep it where people are not rioting in the streets. Then make sure that you support people who are protesting peacefully and who are advocating for change. The protests have their purposes. Definitely draws attention to things, but they can get out of hand very quickly, as we've discovered here in Austin. When this guy was shot the other night, and so so you want to do, and the thing is, man, it's a sad thing that happened, right? Because those two guys were on a collision course because they were carrying weapons. They were on a collision course. And I mean, I'm not going to get into all that, because of my beliefs about, open carry laws and, all that other kind of stuff, and even concealed carry to a certain extent. I get it. I understand that there are lots of people who need that for their job or need that for protection in other ways. I mean, I get it. But those two guys were on a collision course because that's what they went to. You know what I mean? That's what they went to. One guy was armed with an assault rifle, carrying it around because of the open carry law here in Texas, carrying an assault rifle that was locked and loaded, I'm sure. And then the other guy had his weapon. And so, there's a collision course and someone lost their life. That's a terrible thing. Terrible thing. And so, the peaceful protests that the NBA and the NFL and even NASCAR and the other sports, and people have those players have the right not to kneel. Almost all the players in the NBA are black, and there were several players on those teams, black players, who chose to stand for the national anthem. And you know what? That's heroic. That's brave for them, considering their colleagues. And you know what? Their colleagues respected them for making their own choice, and one of those young men plays for the Orlando Magic, and his teammates love him. And the guy tragically tore his ACL in a game last night and is out now. But a good young man. And it was his choice to stand. You know what? That's America right there, man. That's America. And for people to be able to disagree about something and then support one another in that, you see that happening in the NBA. Yes, Ann Johnson, you might have to tear yourself away from Formula One. Watch a little football. All right. Well, I'm done with my rant. All right, so let's do some Devoing, okay? Someone's texting me. No, that's not. It wasn't anything. Stephen must be going on to our email, our church email site, because it texts me every time something like that happens. So, okay. So let me do this. I've been having a lot of conversations lately about the nature of time. Most of the conversations are centered around the fact that time seems to be acting funnier than usual during this COVID crisis, as in it feels like it's crawling by most days, and then all of a sudden it's the end of July and you don't remember what happened to June. Plus, you don't really know what day it is, at least not enough to stake your life upon it. Anybody feeling me about that, right? It's just like, what day is it? I don't. If somebody said, your life depends on you knowing what day it is at some point in the week, and you're like, I'm not sure. There is this song that I heard the other day, and the lyrics just captured me. It's by the group Fountains of Wayne, which are perhaps most famous for their song "Stacy's Mom" from the early 2000s. Which is this vapid poppy song about a middle school kid who has a crush on his girlfriend's mom, who in the video is played by Heidi Klum. I'm not sure, but at any rate, Stacy's mom has got it going on. And it's an earworm, man. It'll get in your head and then it's there and you're screwed. So at any rate, Fountains of Wayne, that was their one-hit wonder. But they have a great song. There's this great song that's on their album. I can't remember the name of the album. I think it's something to do with Welcome to the Management or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, the song is called All Kinds of Time. Now I'm going to throw it into the – actually, I'm not going to do it because it'll be jacked up if I put it into the feed. I'm just going to have you listen to it, all right? So it's called All Kinds of Time. The clock's running down. The team's losing ground. To the opposing defense, the young quarterback waits for the snap when suddenly it all starts to make sense. He's got all kinds of time. He's got all kinds of time. He takes a step back. He's under attack, but he knows that no one him now. He seems so at ease. A strange inner peace is all that he's feeling somehow. He's got all kinds of time. He's got all kinds of time. He thinks of his mother. He thinks of his bride-to-be. He thinks of his father, his two younger brothers gathered around the widescreen TV. He looks to the left. He looks to the right. And there in a golden ray of light is his open man, just like he planned. The whole world is his tonight. He's got all kinds of time. He's got all kinds of time. I just love this song for so many reasons. It uses a phrase that you hear pretty often during the television broadcast of football games when the quarterback drops back to pass. The announcer will say, "He's got all kinds of time." Well, in reality, the time that elapses from the snap of the football until a QB sees his open receiver is about 2.5 to 3 seconds in the pro and collegiate levels. And it's about 4 seconds for really good football teams in high school. I mean, if you think about that, right? That's like 1,000, 2, 1,000. That's how fast, basically it is once the ball is snapped and when the quarterback has to be able to release it. That's how short that time is. And so the song lets us into the head of a young QB thinking about his charmed life over the course of 4 seconds. And then to the golden moment when he hits the receiver with a pass, which we presume will be caught, making a hero out of the QB. Underneath the surface of the story, the lyrics unfold is a very, very hard, very difficult truth. All of the things the young man is holding on to, the good things in life and his heroic moment, they are as fleeting as those 4 seconds. We can try with all of our might to keep time from moving and to hold on to our memories, the ones we love, to precious moments we want to last forever. But it just keeps moving, doesn't it? Until we realize that the belief that we've got all kinds of time was always an illusion. If the Devo ended right here, that would be a real bummer, wouldn't it? It doesn't. In fact, there's something extraordinarily comforting in the realization that we can't keep time from continuing its slow, then fast march forward. But we have to embrace our frailty and our finitude first. We have to acknowledge the truth that is found in verses like James 4:14. And I'm going to put that into the comments. Okay, so let's do James 4:14. I'm trying to see here. It's really difficult. So there you go. James 4:14 was a really good verse. This is a verse that we all need to read every once in a while. Why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. You might think, well, Leon, that's not a very uplifting verse. But see, here's the thing. When you finally get this, when you suddenly discover that we actually do have all kinds of time, it's amazing. Because you think to yourself, well, my life, all these things are fleeting, but that should liberate us, right? Because then we don't hang on to it so tightly. We don't try to control it. We don't beat ourselves up because we weren't able to accomplish all the things that we thought we were going to accomplish, or, we didn't do all the things that we wanted to do, because we really do have all kinds of time. We have all kinds of time to do good in the world. We have all kinds of time to choose love over hate. We have all kinds of time to tell our loved ones we love them. We have all kinds of time to be still and know that God is God and we are not. We have all kinds of time to seek justice and equality for all people. We have all kinds of time to share the story of how we came to stumble after Jesus. We have all kinds of time to become the people we long to be. We have all kinds of time. Because when you let go of all of the things that keep you from being your truest self, when we let go of worry, anxiety, anger, bitterness, grief, pride, when we let go of all of it, we suddenly discover more time, more space in our head and our heart to focus on the things that last forever. Grace and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you now and always. Amen. That one was one that I really liked. I like all of them. I do. They're all my babies. But that one was a little more special to me for some reason. I guess just because of all the things that we've been going through. But I hope that it was meaningful to you as well. But when we let go of all the things that are keeping us from really and truly doing the things that matter, when all of a sudden when we let go of all those things, you discover like the time to do stuff. I mean, I've had so many conversations with people after their loved one passed away, where they said, "I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd spent more time. I wish I'd done this." And the thing that I experienced, I did the same thing with my mom. I had all of these regrets of all the things that I didn't do. But then, I recalled like all of the hours that I would spend talking to her, all the phone calls that I would make on my 45-minute commute. Sometimes when I worked in Eustis, Florida, when I worked there, I lived in another town and it took me 45 minutes to get to work and back. And so on that commute, sometimes on my way home, I would just call my mom and she would stay on the phone with me all the way till I got home, because in the end, you do have all kinds of time if you take the time, if you push back all of the other stuff, the tyranny of the urgent and all the other things. If you do all that, you have all kinds of time. So take the time today and hold on to that truth. Life is short, but there's all kinds of opportunity to take the time to do the things that last forever. Have a great day, guys. I will be talking to you tomorrow morning wearing brand new gear, different gear, not brand new, different gear. And we'll do it all over again. We'll have us a good day. Thanks for being here. This is one of the best parts of my day. Absolutely. I look forward to it every single morning, getting up and doing this with y'all. It is a gift to me as it is to anybody else. So be blessed. Have a wonderful day, and we will see y'all soon.